Avocados. Avocados are one of the most nutritious fruits you can eat. Avocado trees are tropical evergreen trees and they love the Florida climate. South Florida even more so. It's because it's very fancy down there, and who doesn't do well when there's more money around? I know I do. Lady Avocado, I completely understand. Avocados provide your body with healthy fats. Hello, healthy fats. The avocado fruit is rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. You want nicer skin? Eat an avocado. You want healthier looking hair? Eat an avocado. You want to slide the perfect chip into some decadent guacamole on a cool Saturday afternoon? You'll need an avocado. So, how do we grow an avocado tree? I call it intuition, but I knew you were going to ask me that. To grow from a seed, you want to clean the pit and suspend it partially submerged in water until it sprouts roots, then plant it in soil, and bam, you have an avocado tree. Okay, so it's not that clear cut. So here's what you want to do. Remember that the broad side of the pit needs to be pointed downwards, whether you're going to root it or you're going to place it directly into the ground. If you're going to root it over water, you want to take 3 toothpicks and stick them into the avocado pit to create an avocado helicopter. Yes, you heard what I said. Whether you use this method or not, the point is to have the broad side of the pit suspended over the water with no more than half of the pit being submerged. Now, if you've been a good camper and paid your taxes, you should start to see some things change with your avocado pit. After it splits open at the bottom, you'll notice something. Ooh, look at that. And a little bit after that, you'll notice something else. Well, hello, friend. That's what we were waiting for. The stem to sprout. And then we have a table full of avocado plants. Isn't that neat? And this one here, if you notice, this little growth here, these will grow up and sprout out. You'll get a set of leaves, and these are the leaves that people tell you to clip. I don't clip them, just let them grow. And these are avocados growing in a shallow bowl of water because I have too many avocados and ran out of space. Look at that, you can even see there's something growing in there. It looks like a little alien. But if you look more towards the blue area, you'll see the root actually tried to grow out towards some of the other avocados. We definitely don't want that to happen. We are glad that it opened up at the bottom and gave us a root, but it needs to go into a jar so that the root can grow down. Pretty cool, right? You just grow your own avocado. And I have a few of them that just kind of sit in these jars over either lava rocks. Some are just sitting in water, but there's some just experimenting. Like you even have these guys here that have some really crazy looking nodules on their roots. I thought it was just one, but I actually had a few that did that. I couldn't tell if it was nutrients in the water or what, but they kept growing. They still look healthy, so I left them alone. So to transplant your avocado seedling after it has established some roots, find yourself a nice little pot or a spot in the yard. I like to start off in a pot just in case we need to move it around to more sun or less sun, or an area that gets more water or less water. So a pot just gives you a little more versatility while the plant's growing. So here I'm only going to dig a little hole, probably about 5 inches, and you can see this one has a crazy root system on it. So in this pot, dig our little hole, and then I'm going to pull this guy right out of there, try to keep him in shape there, to try not to disturb the roots too much. Take a look at that crazy system there. I'm going to push it down into the pot, and while I push it down here, I'm just being a little firm with it just to force that root down a little bit more, and then we're going to go ahead and support it with some soil right underneath the avocado pit. And to finish it off, you just want to cover it about halfway there. You don't need to cover the pit the entire way. Just cover it about halfway, and you should be good to go. Once the plant matures in the pot, then it's up to you. Transplant it into a bigger pot, give it a nice little upgrade, a little bit of fertilizer in there. Or go ahead and put it into the ground. As long as you have a clear open area that you can put an avocado tree, it will do phenomenal. And just like I mentioned with any of my other edibles, even though it's probably going to take a while before I get any fruit off this, you want to try to stick with an organic fertilizer just because this is something that you can consume. Although you do have some time, so you may be able, depending on the budget, just use a balanced fertilizer, again, like a 10-10-10 fertilizer, all-purpose fertilizer. And then once you get to the point to where you're about to bear fruit or bear flowers, you want to probably switch it up to an organic fertilizer. They like it warm, with temperatures between 60 and 85 degrees. Seedlings are sensitive to freezing temperatures, so bring them indoors if you're expecting freezing temps while they're growing. In Florida, freezing isn't a serious issue. Some cold snaps here and there, but never enough to freeze the soil over, so we don't have to worry about that. Avocados require well-drained soil with good aeration. This would be a good time to make sure you have some nematodes in the soil. They'll help move the soil around and keep some airflow there. They do best in slightly acidic to neutral soil with a pH between 6 and 7. As far as varieties, in Florida, we tend to find the West Indian varieties and the Mexican Guatemalan hybrids, with the Hass varieties being the most available around the country. I prefer the Reed or the Brogdon varieties when I can get them because they have a very creamy texture, so they're great to cook with, very light on the tummy, and great as a standalone snack or spread. You should research the different varieties to identify the type that you like most. Let's see if we have something in common. Avocado trees can be grown or propagated from their seeds or the pit for faster fruit production and to ensure better disease resistance. The experts graft cuttings from mature trees onto rootstocks. The rootstocks are pretty much already established root systems from another avocado tree or even a different tree entirely. Look up grafting if you're not already into that. You'll see that some of the experts have been able to grow multiple types of fruits from one stock. It's a very cool process and adds even more mystery to these wonderful plants we have. Like most plants, you'll want to avoid waterlogging the soil. If you notice that you've overwatered the plant, just skip watering for a few days up into a week and then monitor the soil again for the consistency. If it's really bad and you've made a terrible boo-boo, as in you've created a big nice pot of mud, you'll want to transplant your avocado tree into a new container or an area that's dry, and do not water it after you transplant it. Give it a week to see if it's regained a proper moisture level. It should be mostly dry by that time. If it has dried out completely, only water it lightly and monitor it for another week to make sure that it regains the moisture consistency. Avocado trees are susceptible to root rot and fungal infections, which is the case for a lot of plants if their water cycle is too frequent or the soil or planting medium retains too much moisture. So, ensure that your soil never stays too wet and try to plant your avocado tree in an area that doesn't flood or retain excessive water. In Florida, it'll be dry within hours, but some of us do have those spots that retain moisture, so plant something appropriate for that condition. For very dry areas, you can mulch around the base of the tree to retain moisture. I've had luck with mowing over a pile of leaves mixed with grass clippings. My best results actually came from adding some of the bamboo sheddings into the mix. It looks nicer and it really solved the problem by helping with the issues as far as drought in specific areas in the garden. Now this is our avocado patch. A lot of these are very old. This biggest one is about 6 years old. I actually grew that from an avocado pit that I took from work. I was a sous chef at one point in time and I started taking the avocado pits home so I can experiment with them, and they actually worked. And then I ended up with too many avocados. So you'll see here that I have a lot of little seedlings. They grew the same way that I just showed you here. And what I do, I'll dig them up and put them in little pots and give them to people and, just give them away. Just because it doesn't seem to be too hard to grow the avocado plant. It's more of waiting for it to give you fruit. But that is what it looks like when you grow them into the ground. Fertilize your avocado seedling every 2 months while they're growing. You can use a balanced fertilizer, something like a 10-10-10 fertilizer, or go for something specifically formulated for citrus plants. As far as pruning, you shouldn't really need to prune the tree unless you got some very low growing branches, which I've only had one do that out of all of the avocado plants I've been able to grow. Other than that, the plant is low maintenance and Mother Nature will take care of the rest. Like most trees, it will produce a canopy to shade its root system, so you don't want to inhibit the tree from growing as naturally as it would like. Avocado trees can grow upwards of 60 feet and a canopy can spread over 15 feet, so be very careful about planting your avocado tree too close to your home. If it's in a pot, you can always move it away from any future obstructions. Avocado trees can take several years to start bearing fruit, especially when grown from seed. It'd probably be a good time to learn JavaScript or Python or something. Avocado flowers are mainly pollinated by bees, but our good old Florida wasps seem to love pollinating avocados also. This is why it's a good idea to grow flowers near your fruits and veggies, because it increases the attraction from pollinators. Some varieties of avocado are self-pollinating, while others utilize cross-pollination. It can take anywhere from 5 to 10 years for the tree to be ready to produce fruit. So you may as well learn networking fundamentals while you're at it. Become an ethical hacker or something. It'll then take a few months from flower to fruit. So you gotta be in this one for the long haul. I mean, really dedicated. You gotta be ready to ride or die for your avocado tree. If you don't want to wait or learn various IT related disciplines, you can opt for a grafted tree, which will likely start fruiting a lot sooner, as in 2 to 3 years. But less of a wait, and the expertise behind grafting viable trees should explain the price for a grafted tree. I think it's fair. You get to make guacamole for decades, for kinda free. So if you know someone who grafts plants or sells grafted trees, you're in luck. You can also not be cool and grow your own. We won't judge you. You know what? Go be a grafter. This is a place for growers, you grafter person. Once the fruits have matured on the tree, you can just pluck them right off. Do be careful, as you know the avocado can be quite tender when it's ready. So you want to get a good grip on the avocado, I guess more of an assertive caress. And then you promise the fruit a better life, and it'll come right off. I hope this helped you get started on growing your own avocado tree, and I hope it makes your friends jealous. Plant the tree, grow some avocados, and then make some delicious guacamole. And remember, you only dip once. Au revoir.